Hello friendly gamers and welcome to the second part of the Seventh Continent series, and in today's episode we're going to be painting some of the miniatures. So what I've done, I've got a little bit of space on the cup holder just here on the right, and I've just arranged the models for the cardboard standees in the order of the colours that they use, starting with the character with the green dress, man with the green trousers, going through a progression all the way until we end up with Frankenstein in his really dark trench coat. So these characters kind of go through in order of the colours they use, with our characters with the blue kind of trousers in the middle there, so that I'm going to be working through the same colours all the way through, and I've also, as part of that batch painting process, arrange the actual models themselves in the same rank order. And that will make painting them a lot more quick and easy, because all I'm going to do is do the detail work on one, progress the next model with the same colour, and work my way through each of the small objects the characters are holding or the small items of clothing that they're wearing, and paint those particular colours one at a time, and then move on to the next colour, and so on, until eventually I can do the detail work and the washes and those sorts of things. And then it's just a case of basing them and doing the finishing touches, and then those will be finished. So I'm hoping that today I'll be able to get these all done, so that I'll be able to get the game to the table using the models over the next few days, and then do a recorded playthrough with the benefit of these wonderfully immersive figures all painted up to a decent tabletop standard. So let's crack on and get stuck into these little things and see how we do. So what I'm going to do for the fire is I'm going to use some bands of thin colour going from white, yellow, red up to black at the top, and keep the paint wet so I can blend it together to get that kind of idea of the fire being intense at its base and then petering out into smoke at the top. And by keeping the paint wet, I should be able to blend them quite easily. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick out the sticks and logs of the fire using brown, and then the pebbles around the outside in grey, and then give it a very, very thin wash just to kind of bring those elements together. And I'll probably do some kind of glaze on the fire. So to start with, all I'm going to do is a very thin layer of white to start, followed by some yellow. I'm actually going to just go straight to layer paint on these, I think, just to keep the fire looking really vibrant. So I'm going to use White Scar and Flash Gets Yellow and Evil Sun Scarlet and Troll Slayer Orange in that order. So going from the white, yellow, and so on. So I'm going to try and do this as speedily as I can, so that we can blend them. This is where it gets tricky. So I'm going to use 4 different brushes which I've already got ready. So I finished base coating all of the models, which took quite a lot longer than I was expecting because they're so small, and I had to keep using lots of detail brushes and switching between the brushes once they started to lose their shape, which often happens with the smaller brushes once they get very wet. So I keep cycling through them, clean them, let them dry out, and then move on to another sharp brush. And that allows me to keep that precision when I'm working on the models. I've done all the detailing, and I've given them a very thin wash using some Nuln oil mixed with the Lamian medium. It's really important when you're painting models to consider both the colour and the tone of the wash, because these are so small, and I just wanted to kind of pick out the edges and the detail and just add a little bit of shading. I mixed in quite a bit of Lamian medium, so it's about 2 parts Lamian medium to 1 part Nuln oil, so it was very, very thin wash, just to bring out a little bit of the detail on the kind of skirts on some of the characters, and a shade, particularly where we've got characters who are dressed entirely in white, which can be quite a problematic colour to paint. So all that remains to be done now is a little bit of highlighting on a few of them. I'm going to keep it quite simple. I don't really want to over egg these ones because they're so small and fiddly. There's a danger if I do too much, I'm actually going to end up spoiling the models. So I'm just going to do a little bit of kind of broad highlighting on the kind of larger surface areas, and then leave it at that. And then all remains to do then is to paint over the bases and just make those a uniform colour, so that I can then add some sand or whatever I want to do just to finish basing them. Okay, so I'm going to crack on.